Hello and welcome to Doubles and Trebles. We're here with a weekend racing review, and what a weekend it was. Top class action from Leopardstown, the Curragh, Doncaster, and I even put up a couple of winners, which doesn't happen all that often. One main one we're going to come on to, I won't mention yet. We had Mum's Tipple 6-1, went 1-33 in running on Sunday in the 1 o'clock at Doncaster, was second. I thought the writing was on the wall then. I thought, well, that's the script written for today. It's going to be unlucky, but couple of winners followed. We had Trillium at 15-8. I think actually went off 2-1 to be fair. We had a non-runner in Gareth and one of the big winners that we're going to come on to. So no less than 7 Group 1 races in Europe over the weekend. Like I say, from Ireland, the UK and France. Not covering France in this video today. Pretty insignificant to what we have seen in Ireland and at Doncaster. But there's only one place to start for me. Luxembourg. I've been saying it for weeks and weeks. I've put him up anti-post for the ARC. I've been telling people on Twitter, on WhatsApp groups, Luxembourg's is a good horse. And so he proved it on Saturday. And, you know, it doesn't happen often that I get something bang on. But this race I did, to be fair. And I've even got a message to a family member that I sent on May the 7th saying that Luxembourg's injury was a blessing in disguise. He wasn't ready for Epsom, and the perfect race for him in the future is the Irish Champion Stakes, and which he's gone on and won. Even a broken clock is right twice a day, as someone is sure to tell me in the comments. But yeah, the Irish Champion Stakes on Saturday, Luxembourg's gone off about 7-2. He was 5-1 earlier in the week when I put him up. Said he was the bet then. He's gone off a little bit shorter. But as for the race itself, Stone Age from the Aidan O'Brien yard went off like a bullet out of a gun. Broom, also from the Aidan O'Brien yard, followed him. And Ryan Moore had Luxembourg perfectly placed, really, in fourth, just off the pace. And he's gone up the straight, and he was well in command at the line. He's clearly improved for that comeback run in the Royal Whip Stakes. He needed to. Everyone knew he needed to, and he did. They said he was going to improve, and he did. And he's bagged a Group 1 as a 3-year-old to back up the Group 1. He won last year at Doncaster as a 2-year-old. Onesto from France did threaten on the far rail around for about a furlong out, but for a moment or two I did wonder whether Luxembourg was going to pass. Really, I feared that he might not. He had a slightly high head carriage, which was a worry, but he stretched out clear in the end and has run well for me. He was well in command at the line. Ernesto ran well, fair play, nothing really to comment there. Came over from France having won a piddly Group 1, and he's proved he is up to this level. Verdani went off favourite, as expected really, but Zhu Mignon went for the brave route up the inside rail, and he's got himself unlucky, to be honest. I don't think he was going to win anyway, Verdani, but visually some fans of him will claim that he was unlucky and didn't get the luck in running. Maybe not, but we've got to remember when Verdani won at Sandown in the Eclipse, Mishrif was apparently the one that was unlucky in running, and this time the tables were reversed on Verdani a little bit. But the ground was too slow for Verdani. I said that before, and I've been saying it all week. And I think that's as it proved. I think it was probably also too slow for Mishrif. And he's becoming more unreliable with age, Mishrif, to be honest. I think he's losing interest in the game, in all honesty. Big statement to make about one of the highest rated horses in Europe. But yeah, I just think he's had enough out. We might not see Mishrif again. But yeah, Luxembourg, all leads rode from Luxembourg to Paris. He's 6-1 second favourite, behind only Baid at the moment in the ARC market. And we were told that the plan with Luxembourg was Irish Champion and ARC. That plan still looks like it's in place. The 6-1 probably is a bit too short, let's be honest. But the market for the ARC at the moment is really quite confusing because Baid's in there. He might not run. If he runs, he'll be odds on. You can get 4-6 with him, non-runner, no bet. But he might not run. So that's factored into the anti-post price at the minute. His top price, 100-30. But factored into that is the fact that he may not run and he may stay over 10 furlongs at Ascot. If Baid was not to run, would Luxembourg be the right favourite for the ARC? Probably, but it's not a great year. I think Baid is a mile in front on ability and ratings, obviously, but on ability is a mile in front of most of these contenders in the ARC market. Alpinista, title holder from Japan, very much unproven. Takoto Tasso has got beat again the other week in his German comeback run. Ernesto ran well in the Irish Champion. Not sure whether he's an intended runner in the ARC. And Verdani, they're talking about sending Verdani to the ARC. No chance. No chance. Not staying. He's a 10 furlong horse. Keep him over 10 furlong. Probably bring Verdani back next year, if possible, when there's a bit better ground. I think the slower ground did him at the weekend, and he doesn't want any further, if you ask me. So that's the gloating on Luxembourg done. Great to see him win, and yeah, all roads lead to the Arc. I put him up on the channel at around 26, 27 on the exchange. Like I say, he's now 6-1, but Baid is a big, big shadow over the Arc anti-post market at the moment. Also on Saturday, Pearls Galore was the other Group 1 winner at Leopardstown. 16-1 was a bit of a shock if you're just looking purely at the price, but she was a close second in this race last year. And she battled brilliantly from the front on Saturday. Some ride from Billy Lee. Homeless Songs loomed up down the middle of the track. That was her first run since May. She just didn't look fit, to be honest. She got no way near winning. Let's be honest, Homeless Songs, she's gone off 6-4. Like I say, not seen since May. And her trainer did warn on the microphone at Leopardstown on Saturday she was lacking in fitness beforehand. That is disappointing. We shouldn't have Group 1s where horses aren't fit and ready to go. I mean, you know, you could accept those comments if it was a Group 3 and she's been off a while, but this is a Group 1. Yes, she's been off a while, but it is the trainer's job to get the horse fit. Obviously, there's going to be other targets this season as well, but yeah, she's finished 4th in the end. Not great. I don't really know what to make of Homeless Songs. Obviously, they will say that she'll come forward for that, but did she just get found out by a good field? You know, Pearls Galore's got Group 1 form. I mentioned she was second in this race last year. Shout out to the second and the third. Saffron Beach has been excellent for Jane Chapelheim this season. That's 4th, 1st, 2nd in Group 1s this year. Great stuff for Jane Chapelheim and Saffron Beach. And to the third, Tenebrism. She's ran in 5 Group 1s this year. And the form of her most recent 3 of those read 1, 2 and 3. I'm still convinced that Tenebrism doesn't stay a mile. I've said this all year. You can go back to April on doubles and trebles to find me saying Tenebrism doesn't truly stay a mile well enough at the top level. And it's no surprise that Tenebrism's only win this season has been over 7 furlongs. She should be running in the foray on Arc Day. That's over 7 furlongs. The fact is, we've covered it before, there's not many races at Group 1 level over 7 furlongs. In Europe, there's none in the UK or Ireland. But yeah, she should be going to the 7 furlong race at the foray. But that would be against the boys. Is she good enough to beat them? Well, hopefully we'll find out. She's entered in things like the Sun Chariot Stakes at Newmarket. Again, that's over a mile on the Rowley Mile. Yeah, not sure. I don't think she truly stays a mile. Anyway, on to Sunday, where we'll start with the St. Ledger at Doncaster. I called it a poor renewal beforehand, and it was in truth. Let's be honest. There was no Group 1 winner in the field, which is disappointing for a classic. It's got to be disappointing for a classic. We've had 3/4 of the season, and we can't get a Group 1 staying 3-year-old to compete in the Ledger. I don't think it's great. It's a shame. The Ledger has been on the up in the last few years. We've had Derby winners and Derby seconds and Irish Derby winners running in the Ledger, but not this year. Disappointing. Anyway, New London went off 11-8. I thought he would win. I put him up. It's a losing bet. He's gone off a lot bigger than I thought. I thought he would go off odds on. He's gone off 11-8. I've got that wrong. And for good reason he's gone off 11-8, because really he could only muster third. So the market got it right. In truth, Eldar Eldarov, the eventual winner, was really quite impressive. Let's be honest about it. He showed a really nice turn of foot, particularly for a stayer, and was an ease down 2-length winner in the end at the line. Almost took a pull at the 3 furlong marker if you watch it back. Connections will be really, really excited about him next season. He's got Royal Ascot win to his name. He's now got the St. Ledger win to his name. He's got a blot on the copybook in that race, the Group 1 Grand Prix de Paris in France, where he went off favourite, and he was poor in truth. They've obviously had excuses for that. Roger Varian's got him fit, ready to go, and perfect for the day in the Classic, and Roger wins the St. Ledger for the second time. He is a possible Eldar Eldarov for the Long Distance Cup at Ascot on Champions Day. I'm going to mention that a little bit later, but that would be fascinating. He's around 6-1 for that race at the moment, but options, I think, at the moment are up in the air. He's a really exciting horse for next year with Connections. He's not had all that many runs to his name. So, yeah, fair play to Eldar Eldarov and Connections. And a word for young David Egan, who won his first Classic on Eldar Eldarov. He's lost a ride on Mishriff and the retainer from Mishriff's owner earlier this year. But he's had the last laugh here for me, and fair play to him. He's gone back to basics, really, getting lots of rides for Roger Varian, but basically the stable jockey there now, and And yeah, fair play to David, and he's grabbed his first classic there. And he's got a few Group 1s to his name, and this is another one, and again, an exciting horse for him next year. Just on the ledger, a shout out to Frankie Dettori, who picked up another ban in a Group 1 on successive weekends. Last week it was on to Corto Tasso. This week it was on Haskoy. And really, quite a shock. Haskoy was actually demoted by the British stewards on the day. He was demoted from second. He was second in the race live, if you like, but he was demoted to fourth. So in the copybook, in the form book, in the history books, it will say that Haskoy, the filly in the St. Ledger, was fourth, and that was a result of really badly interfering with Gio Velletto of Marco Botti and Neil Callan. They were on the rail. Frankie came across them quite badly, and yeah, it didn't look too pretty, and he's got himself a ban, and the horse has been demoted. You do not see that often in British racing. 4 Group 1s at the Curragh on Sunday, but my starting point is Ryan Moore in a Group 2 on Above the Curve, the Moyglare Blandford Stakes, like I say, a Group 2. Watch this race back. Superb, an absolutely fantastic ride. It looked to me that Ryan had decided to eyeball the favourite and last year's winner, Le Petit Coco, down the back straight, refused to let her move out round the bend, really was eyeballing her, and he was Above the Curve, was ridden to maintain position. But that wasn't the half of it. He's not just boxed in the favourite. He's then had to battle with Above the Curve all the way up the straight, all out in the final furlong. Could have gone either way in the final strides, but she held on. One of the rides of the season. He is absolutely mustard, Ryan Moore. I think he's had a great season. I think he is superb at Ascot, particularly on the round track there. Look out for Ryan on the round track there. I know he rides a lot of favourites, but you watch that Above the Curve. I thought it was a really, really, really great ride. The weather at the Curragh on Sunday was awful. Absolutely awful. I was lucky enough to be there. Genuine soft ground. I thought that would scupper Highfield Princess in the Flying 5. I was massively wrong. She was really well backed, 15 to 8 in the morning. She's gone off 5 to 4, and she's basically never looked like getting beat. Up there with the pace as normal. Led on her side of the race early, then did come across to the standside later on. Had pretty much everything at it at the 2-pole. Highfield Princess is on the bridle. Everything else is at it. Easy as you like. She's won 3 Group 1s now in a row. The Maurice de Guiche over 6.5 furlongs, then dropped back to the Numthorpe over 5 furlongs on rattling quick ground. She's won that really quite well, really impressive. And then she's gone on to the Curragh for the Flying 5 on soft ground, and she's won that as easy as you like. Amazing for connections. The owners of Highfield Princess have only got one horse in training. Great stuff for John Quinn and Jason Hart. I mean, Jason Hart is only a young lad based in the north of England. He's rode 3 Group 1s on the same horse this year. Brilliant stuff. Breeders' Cup on the horizon for Highfield Princess. My pick, Romantic Proposal, was a mile away from winning. Disappointing on the face of it, finished way down the field, but I am willing to give her one more chance. I'm not often very loyal to horses, but she was racing on the wrong side at the weekend at the Curragh, in my opinion. And the jockey Chris Hayes reported that Romantic Proposal got struck into earlier in the race, so may have been carrying an injury. Hopefully, she can recover from that in time to have a crack at the Abbey on Arc Day over 5 furlongs. An absolute lottery of a Group 1. And hopefully she goes off a big price there, maybe 20 to 1. Hopefully she's the forgotten horse, Romantic Proposal. She's finished down the field on her last 2 starts now. But I think she had explanations or promise or excuses in both. Or maybe I'm just showing blind loyalty. But we'll give Romantic Proposal one more chance, hopefully on Arc Day. If we thought that Highfield Princess was impressive, oh my word. In the very next race at the Curragh, up stepped Tahira. A name we'll definitely be getting used to, and I won't be getting wrong in the future. In the very next race, the Moyglare Stud Stakes, over 7 furlongs for 2-year-olds. A stunning performance. A really, really visually, massively impressive performance. And on the clock, and in the form book, which I'm going to come on to. Tahira is a half-sister to Tanawa, multiple Group 1 winner over further trips, to be honest, and wasn't really seen as a 2-year-old at all, I don't think, Tanawa. Possibly might be wrong on that, check it out. Tahira won a maiden by 5.5 lengths back at the back end of July. Not seen since, so she's had a few weeks off. She's gone straight into Group 1 company here. Even money favourite Meditate went clear, a furlong out. Tahira just loomed up alongside her and just slammed her, basically. The pair were a mile clear of the rest. Meditate's unbeaten run of 4 has gone out the window. She was the rightful favourite. Tahira's beat the right horse. She was already a Group 2 winner, I believe, Meditate. And what a performance from Tahira. Just outstanding. Easily the most exciting 2-year-old filly we've seen this season, easily. Dermot Weld doesn't often target English classics, but she's already 4-1 for the 1,000 guineas. She's 8-1 for the Epsom Oaks next year. Likely to be taken in races by the same name, but in Ireland, I would imagine. Sorry, next up were the 2-year-old boys, where Joseph O'Brien's El Reefer did a Tahira, going from a maiden to a Group 1 and winning. Although this was El Reefer's third start rather than his second start. Aesop's Fables was sent off 8-13. He won a Group 2 Futurity recently. So he was the obvious favourite here for Aidan O'Brien and Ryan Moore, but he could only manage fourth. Disappointing, let's be honest. Just didn't pick up. Maybe the ground didn't help him. He's a no-nay never. He was on soft ground. I'm not sure about the form of the race, given that the favourite bombed out, but I do really like the winner, Al Reefer. He'll certainly stay further next year, but again, like I say, the structure to the form is questionable. But we'll find out as the season goes on. We might see Al Reefer again in something like the Dewhurst at Doncaster, or there's a race over a mile on Arc Day, the Jean-Luc Lagardère. Finally, staying horses don't get a lot of coverage on doubles and trebles, but I love Kyprios. Love him. What a horse. I mean, he'd run for a brick wall for you, really. He's so likeable. He's now won the Ascot Gold Cup this year, and then went on to Goodwood to win the Goodwood Cup, and now he's added the Irish St. Leger to his CV of staying races this year. Typical fashion, really, for Kyprios, up with the pace, just in behind with Ryan. He likes to get him there. He's not a horse that's going to come from the back of the field and swoop past people on the bridle like Stradivarius maybe once used to do. Kyprios is going to be up in the van. He's going to be there ready to strike, ready to pounce. He's a grinder late on. I mean, he's often ridden to hit top gear, as you would expect. Eyeballed by a rival in the final furlong. Saw him off Hamish. Come there swinging. Kyprios seen him off, no problem. Don't get into a battle with Kyprios because you'll be coming out on the wrong side of it. We've seen it a few times this year. He's just a star. He's only 4, so he could be dominating the Stayers division for some time to come. Aidan O'Brien mentioned the Arc, not for the first time with this horse. He has mentioned it earlier in the season. It wouldn't be my idea of a good plan, but who am I to argue with Mr. O'Brien? He took an Ascot Gold Cup and St. Leger winner, Irish St. Leger winner, to be third in the Arc before. Order of St. George, I think, finished third the year that Found won it in 2016, and Aidan O'Brien had the 1-2-3. Kyprios could well bag a place with his attitude and his staying power. Particularly, it's probably going to be soft ground at France in about a month's time or 3 weeks' time. He'd need to be supplemented. That shouldn't be a problem for the Coolmore boys. But if it was me, I'd send him to Ascot, where we could get the long distance cup, Kyprios versus Eldar Eldarov versus Trushan versus Coltrane. Put my name down for that. I'll look forward to it. Anyway, thanks for tuning in. There's plenty of horses and darts. We're going to get Pyman back on soon. Don't worry about that. Plenty going on at the moment. A busy time in both sports. We had a couple of winners at the weekend. We're going to need a few more. We're at a minus this year, but I'm going to try and turn it around between now and the middle of October and the end of the flat season. So thanks for tuning in. Speak soon.